All right, well, welcome everyone to our Future Proof Your Retirement free monthly webinar. Today, we're going to be going over some critical details on midlife planning for late life success. So you will meet us all during the presentation, but I did want to make some quick introductions to the Future Proof team. So we consist of Alisha Mack, who is a senior living advisor with Oasis Senior Advisors. Joy McMurchy, a certified financial educator. And my name is Jackie Walter. I'm a health and Medicare insurance broker with Translating Insurance. And today, our guest speaker is Michael Mulligan. He's a community health education coordinator with the Parkinson's Resources of Oregon. So our purpose when we created this group is to focus on educating people so they're prepared for a successful and crisis-proof retirement and late life. While you just met the founders, every month we do have guest speakers adding value to our free webinar, including speakers on estate planning, forever home planning, supplemental insurances, and tax planning. So our vision is to bring up those questions that you wouldn't think to ask so that we can help you prepare before it's too late. It's always better to have a plan before you are in crisis mode. So as a reminder, you can jot down any questions that you have for the end, as we will have some time later for a Q&A. And then today, our first presenter is Mike Mulligan. So Mike, take it away.
Great. Thank you so much, Jackie, for the introduction. Again, my name's Mike Mulligan. I'm the Community Health Education Coordinator with Parkinson's Resources of Oregon, and we go by the acronym PRO. And when I give talks, I always like to begin by going through the mission statement of our organization. And the word that always stands out to me when I read it is empowering. PRO's mission is to empowering individuals to meet the challenges of living with Parkinson's disease through information, education, personal support, and advocacy for a cure. And when we say individuals, we really mean everyone whose lives are touched by Parkinson's, those that are diagnosed, their care partners, other family members, and friends. The area that we serve is all, so PRO is serving the region for over 40 years. We're a nonprofit 501c3 organization. We're also a non-medical organization. So we're not being able to provide medical guidance. Our goal really is to connect people with the appropriate experts in their area. PRO has 11 employees and is led by an all-volunteer board. But truly, we could not do what our organization does without an amazing network of over 200 volunteers. We estimate that PRO reaches approximately 15,000 households annually, and in 2023, we added a little bit more, over 2,000 new ones. PRO serves all of Oregon and Southwest Washington, as I mentioned. Our headquarters are here in Beaverton, Oregon, but we also have satellite offices in Bend and in Eugene. And on this map, the little blue dots indicate where we have support groups. I think most people have heard of Parkinson's disease. They may know somebody or have a family member who has it, or they themselves may have been diagnosed. But maybe if you're not as familiar with Parkinson's, I'd like to share a little bit about it. Parkinson's is a neurological condition that affects the speed, quality, and ease of movement. It impacts the brain and the nervous system. It's a condition that is chronic and it's progressive. Presently, there is no cure for Parkinson's and there's no way to halt its progression. The focus of treatment for Parkinson's is on symptom management and the proactive steps one can take to potentially slow progression and improve quality of life. And with over 50 potential symptoms associated with Parkinson's, each person's experience with it is going to be unique. That's why we often say, when you've met one person with Parkinson's, you've met one person with Parkinson's. To very briefly give you some sense of the impact of Parkinson's and who it affects, I have a few statistics to share with you. Worldwide, there are about 10 million people diagnosed with Parkinson's. In the US, it's estimated as of 2020 to be about 1 million. According to the World Health Organization, it is the fastest growing neurological disorder in the world. And in a 2022 report, it was identified as being a public health issue. The average age of onset is 60, though it does occur in younger individuals. In fact, approximately 4 to 20% of those diagnosed with Parkinson's are diagnosed before the age of 50. The risk for developing Parkinson's increases with age. If we look at everybody over the age of 60, it's about 1 in 100 have Parkinson's. But when you look at it over the age of 85, it's about 1 in 20. Given we have a population, all of us are aging, what we'll see is the number of people being diagnosed increasing going forward. Men are about 1.5 times more likely to be diagnosed than women. In a 2022 study, estimated about 90,000 Americans are being diagnosed annually. This is a 50% increase over the previous estimate. And in Oregon, approximately 1,100 individuals are diagnosed each year. At PRO, our clients are the individuals with Parkinson's, their care partners, and their families. What impressed me when I first was researching PRO, and it's a very comprehensive, really holistic model the organization uses to meet the needs of our clients. We strive to provide resources and services that address the unique challenges, questions, and needs of all individuals that are affected by Parkinson's. PRO offers a broad network of support groups, regular education events, counseling and case management services, and exercise and wellness programming. So let's take a look at those in a little bit more detail. Our support groups. The support groups really are the cornerstone of PRO services. We currently have 52 groups across our service area. Some meet in person while others meet virtually or use a hybrid format. There are a large number of general support groups which are open to the individual with Parkinson's, their care partners, families, and friends. But we also have a wide variety of more specialized groups. There are groups that are specifically for care partners. This includes a group for women who are care partners. And there are topic and age-specific groups, such as our Parkinson's Without a Partner group, Women with Parkinson's. There's a group for the adult children of parents with Parkinson's, and groups for those with a young onset diagnosis. We truly believe that knowledge is power. That's why PRO offers a variety of in-person, online, and hybrid classes. The focus is on providing practical, actionable information for our constituents. A few examples of the topics we cover include Parkinson's 101. This is a class that provides a good overview of Parkinson's. Its purpose is to help people who may not be familiar with the disease or maybe have been newly diagnosed, help them to better understand it, what individuals with Parkinson's may experience, and how it is treated. We have a follow-up class of that called Living Well. This is a 2-part class that covers the role of building your care team, the importance of exercise, nutrition, socialization, and education. It really is a focus on lifestyle strategies to live your best life. We also have a class called Preparing for the Unexpected. It really is important to do that planning ahead. What would you do if your primary care partner suddenly wasn't unable to care for their loved one with Parkinson's? Who's going to step into that role? So this class assists participants as they identify the steps to take to get prepared, including rallying support and identifying roles ahead for family members and friends, finding care resources, and gathering and organizing crucial information that would be needed. We also have a class called Long-Term Care Training. It is for a program for professionals that work in long-term care settings, such as senior living or assisted living, to be able to help increase their awareness and their skills in managing the unique needs and challenges for individuals with Parkinson's. We also seek out opportunities to partner with local professionals who work with the Parkinson's community to present education events on specialized topics. Some examples include talks by movement disorder specialists explaining the breakthrough therapies that may be on the horizon, as well as having like an elder law attorney come and walk families through the processes of advanced planning. Peggy Ross is our clinical social associate and a member of the PRO team. She's available for short-term counseling and case management at no cost. Here are just a few of the things that Peggy is able to assist people in addressing. She can help people adjusting with the diagnosis of Parkinson's, helping people in coping with depression and anxiety and Parkinson's-related cognitive changes that they may experience, helping facilitate support and understanding amongst family and friends, helping people to navigate the public service system, and offering guidance on housing and care transitions. Peggy has an office in our Nimbus office here in Beaverton, but she can also meet via telehealth and by phone. Exercise is a very important aspect of managing Parkinson's. Research points to it currently being the one known intervention that can help slow disease progression, as well as decreasing symptoms and, most importantly, improving quality of life. Medication really manages the symptoms of Parkinson's, but exercise is beneficial for the brain. It's really neuroprotective in that it's protecting the brain and helps build connections between cells in the brain. If someone has not been a regular exerciser or has other health issues, it's always advisable to check with your physician before starting a new exercise program. But the research shows that there are certain types of exercise that should be incorporated into a Parkinson-specific program to have the most benefit. Pro offers a wide variety of online exercise class options, as well as hosting several independent instructors who teach in-person classes at our main office in Beaverton. We also have lists of other online and in-person Parkinson-specific exercise programs across our service area. Living well should really mean more than just keeping track of your medication schedules and your doctor's appointments. Pro offers a variety of avenues to connect with others and explore new activities to improve your daily life. It really is so important to maintain and build social connections and continue with or pursue new hobbies. A few examples of programs that we offer include our ongoing classes online of a mindful morning meditation. We have an online breathing yoga class. There's a communication skills group, and as well as monthly online and in-person Parkinson's sing-alongs. Here are a few of the additional services, though, also offered by Pro. We have a helpline, so you can call our office anytime, Monday through Fridays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and any of us on our staff are able to assist you. So if you have questions about Parkinson's, you're looking for information about healthcare providers or caregiver resources, please give us a call because we're happy to get that information for you. We also have a peer-to-peer mentoring program. This program has been running for a bit over a year now. And really the goal is to match individuals who may be more newly diagnosed or experiencing some transition in their symptoms with another individual that's been diagnosed with Parkinson's and maybe a little bit further along in that journey. And that mentor is really able to help share information with the individual that may be newly diagnosed, giving them tips as far as wellness and exercise, helping them to learn strategies for coping and motivational skills, providing guidance on self-advocacy, as well as maybe providing advice on where to look for medical, educational, or other community resources. Pro also offers small respite grants. So these small grants are available for care partners, and a stipend can be used for helping to defray the cost for in-home care if you wanted to go to a class or you need to travel for some event. It also helps with workshops, mental health care, and more. So Peggy is somebody that you can contact if you're interested in the respite grants. We also communicate regularly with our community through our quarterly newsletter and monthly regional emails. Just to give you where you can look to find out about upcoming events and other information that's happening here at Pro, if you go to the pro.eventbrite.com site, there you can see a list of all the educational talks that are coming up, the exercise classes that are available, and other special events. On that site, you can register to participate, but if you prefer, you can always call our main office at the 1-800-426-6806 number to sign up. We're happy to do that for you. And finally, one of the major highlights of our calendar each year is our Soul Support fundraising walks. These are uplifting opportunities for individuals with Parkinson's, their family, and their friends to come together to raise awareness, build community, and be active. And this is our schedule that we have for 2024. We'll be beginning in Portland on September 21st. Then the next weekend, we'll be having a walk on Saturday in Vancouver on the 28th, Eugene on the 29th, and then October 6th in Bend will wrap up the series. So I'd encourage you to check those out. And finally, here is just the contact information for our organization. Again, we are local, direct, and personal. Our main phone numbers are there. And you can also go to our website to see a whole host of additional information at parkinsonsresources.org. So thank you so much for having me. And Jackie, Alisha, and Joy, I will hand it back over to you.
Well, thanks so much, Mike. I feel like every time I hear your presentation, a new tidbit stands out to me. Today, I'm going to talk about creating a plan that is flexible to give you the most options to meet whatever life throws at you. And obviously, a lot of people, if they receive a diagnosis like Parkinson's, sort of feel like a wrench has been thrown in the works in terms of what their plans are. But there's options out there that you can look at to give you a little bit more opportunity to take advantage of things. Before we get started, though, these are the 7 money milestones that my firm uses to walk each family through the process of building a plan to reach their goals and dreams. Each step is essential, but today we're going to focus on steps 2 and 7, proper protection and protecting wealth. You'll also get to meet one of the characters from our book, How Many Works Stop Being a Sucker. But with proper protection, we're basically talking about different kinds of insurance. And what my team and I do is act as guides to the financial industry to talk through each individual or family's needs and goals and connect them to the right tools. The key is to get the insurance coverage you need before you need it. Let's consider a family where one spouse or partner has received a diagnosis of Parkinson's. What happens if the other partner dies? How much would it cost to replace everything that the care partner does for the spouse with Parkinson's, either now or in the future? Life insurance on the care partner can also pay for those services or care needs if something happens to him or her. As you can see, though, a very small portion of the people who will need long-term care currently have long-term care insurance. And Hector here is one of our characters. He talks about how it protects him financially, but what if they don't end up dying and they end up needing additional care? Getting this coverage early before serious health issues appear is important, as it quickly becomes very expensive or difficult to qualify after a diagnosis. Caring for a care partner is important here as well. If the spouse of a person with Parkinson's ends up needing long-term care, who will care for them? Long-term care coverage gives families options when these needs arise. But even more important to note, though, is that over 1/3 of the people who need long-term care are under 65. At a work conference this last year, there was a story of a family who added a care rider on their policy for their infant daughter. And when she was diagnosed with cancer at 3 years old, that rider allowed her parents to take the time off work they needed to focus on caring for her through her treatments. And she's doing well now. Though the majority of people who get Parkinson's are over the age of 60, it looks like about 10 to 20% of the people diagnosed each year in the United States are under 50, and about half of those are under 40. So there's really no such thing as planning too early when it comes to making sure you have all your bases covered. The problem is that until the time comes, we don't know if we are one of the 7 people out of 10 who will need long-term care. We can look at family history and sort of make an educated guess sometimes, but not every time. In the past, people bought life or long-term care insurance sort of like we buy car insurance. You pay for it every month or every year, and if you need it, great. But if you don't, you got the peace of mind, but could be out of pocket thousands of dollars. Recently, though, there's a new type of insurance that has become available that isn't use it or lose it. These hybrid policies incorporate life insurance, long-term care, and cash value available for large expenses. If you need long-term care, the money is there, but if you don't need long-term care, then your family gets a larger inheritance and you aren't just paying money for peace of mind. Finally, a long-term care need can disrupt your goal of leaving a legacy. Proper comprehensive planning will include a strategy to preserve the portion of your estate you want to pass on to your family. If you own a property or business and yet use all your available cash to cover your long-term care needs, your heirs might not be able to pay the estate taxes without selling part of the estate. You might want to consider a life insurance policy designed specifically to pay the estate taxes so the family business or family home is protected. But talking a little bit more about what you need for estate planning, these are the 4 documents that most people need for an estate plan. A will or a trust tells people what the plan is for your property and personal possessions. The power of attorney and advance directive are both essential if you do not die. Who will pay bills or make healthcare decisions for you if you cannot? The HIPAA release is a companion document to the advance directive that allows your medical team to discuss your care with your healthcare advocate. Some people choose a will because it's less expensive up front. However, be prepared to potentially spend several $1,000s to get through the probate process, especially if you own property or businesses. Trusts, on the other hand, cost more upfront, but make the passing of assets like a home a lot more seamless. They can also smooth the process of a Medicaid spend down if you know that you will eventually need to qualify for Medicaid to pay for your care. There are several benefits to working with me and my team. It's free to meet with us, and we never charge for advice. We want top-level planning strategies to be accessible to everyday people. You also get the benefit of a large team of specialists. We have experts in life and long-term care insurance, retirement, including PERS planning, investments, estate planning, and college planning on our teams to help each family build their customized plan. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Jacquie Walter.
Thanks, Joy. That was really valuable information there. I know a lot of people, when they hear the word long-term care insurance, they just instantly think of like an institution type setting where it's like a sterile environment with like fluorescent lights. And, it's just like it brings up a bad picture, but there's so much flexibility now with long-term care and being able to use it at home or in a care facility. And Alisha will go over the different types of care facilities available and different types of care. But my name is Jacquie Walter. I'm a health insurance broker and a Medicare broker with Translating Insurance. And I name my business Translating Insurance because I understand insurance can sometimes feel like a foreign language. And I want to help take the confusion out of health insurance solutions, both before and after retirement. And since 90% of individuals with Parkinson's are covered by Medicare, today I'm going to focus on the following topics. So what is Medicare? Should I get a Medicare supplement or a Medicare Advantage plan? How does Medicare cover Parkinson's? And then as a broker, I help people navigate and understand these insurance solutions for free so they don't have to figure it out on their own. So Medicare is a federally funded health insurance program for people ages 65 and older, those under 65 with a qualified disability, or any age with end-stage renal disease. And Medicare has 4 parts. Original Medicare is comprised of Part A and Part B. So your hospital, skilled nursing, and hospice coverage fall under Part A. All your outpatient services, durable medical equipment, and emergency services fall under Part B. And then Part C is what's known as Medicare Advantage, which we'll talk about in a minute. And Part D is a standalone prescription drug coverage. Contrary to popular opinion, Medicare is not free. Original Medicare, which is Part A and B, has monthly premiums as well as a large per occurrence hospital deductible, daily hospital copays, and 20% coinsurance for outpatient services that fall under Part B. Not to mention, there is no max out of pocket with Original Medicare. And there's quite a lot of things that Original Medicare doesn't cover, like dental, vision, hearing. Medicare also does not cover long-term care. So it's really important to take Joy's advice and come up with a long-term care solution before it becomes cost prohibitive. When making Medicare decisions at retirement age, people tend to think, I'm healthy, I don't need a lot of care, I'm just going to pick the cheapest plan possible. But You need to be thinking years in advance because some plans have lower out-of-pocket exposure and more provider choices than others. Remember, a stroke or an unexpected illness can quickly take you from healthy to needing assistance in the blink of an eye. So picking your coverage now based on what coverage that you want in the event of a catastrophe is what I recommend. There's two ways to supplement Medicare. You have Medicare supplements, also known as Medigap plans. Those go in second position behind original Medicare to pay those large hospital deductibles, hospital copays, and that 20% coinsurance under Part B. So you have very little out-of-pocket exposure on a Medicare supplement. With a Medicare supplement, you can go to any doctor in the country that takes original Medicare, and you don't need a referral to see a specialist. However, these types of plans are only guaranteed issue for the first 6 months that you go on Medicare. If you don't opt into a Medigap plan within that 6-month window and you want one later, you will have to pass medical underwriting in order to get a Medicare supplement. The alternative to Medicare is called a Medicare Advantage plan. And Advantage plans are private insurance through companies that have a Medicare contract. They replace original Medicare as your primary insurance and are generally less expensive monthly than a Medicare supplement. They do have copays, coinsurance, but they also give you a max out of pocket to limit your financial exposure. And they have to cover at least what Medicare Part A and B cover. A lot of Medicare Advantage plans come with prescription drug coverage embedded in the plan, as well as extra things like dental, vision, hearing, and alternative care. Remember, again, as we talked about, thinking, what do I want 10 years from now? What do I want 20 years from now is what you really want to think about when you're just going on Medicare. So let's talk about how Medicare covers Parkinson's. So you're definitely going to have coverage under Medicare Part A for acute inpatient hospitalization, inpatient rehabilitation, and short durations in a skilled nursing facility while your condition is improving. You'll also have coverage under Part B for primary care visits, neurologist, movement disorder specialist, cardiologist to help monitor your blood pressure and your heart rate, gastroenterologist to help with your gut motility and physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy, as well as some home health care. Some Medicare plans even come with a gym membership to help make sure that you're improving your movement, flexibility, and strength. And then Medicare Part B covers durable medical equipment like wheelchairs, walkers, and feeding tubes if they're considered medically necessary. This equipment is subject to the reasonable useful life rule, which is generally 5 years or more. And then finally, Medicare Part D, your prescription drug coverage, should help cover the cost of common Parkinson's prescriptions that help manage your symptoms. So you will have copays or coinsurance when you get the drugs from an in-network pharmacy with your drug plan. And some of the things that Medicare does not cover is going to be more of the custodial care. So if you need help with activities of daily living, like eating, dressing, using the restroom, transferring, those things are not covered by Medicare. And that's why it's really important to have some other type of plan for the activities of daily living or custodial care that you may need when you have Parkinson's. And that's it for me. If you have any questions, my help is free, so please just hop on my calendar. And next up is Alisha Mack.
Thanks, Jackie. I'm so glad that you spent some time talking about what does Medicare cover. I have so many clients who are on Medicare and don't know what's covered by it. So this was really valuable. I'm Alisha with Oasis Senior Advisors, and I'm a senior living advisor. So I'm going to leave us with some what I like to call thought bombs today, some thought-provoking questions, and to help you to better understand a little bit about the role of a senior living advisor. So I like to think of myself as a guide who can help answer questions, understand where you're at, offer you some resources and some education to help you really feel empowered to make good decisions about your care and your needs. When I meet with a new client, I'm walking through a lot of these questions that you see on the screen here with them to better understand exactly what's going on in their situation. And then that helps me to know how to help them and to understand what resources might be most applicable to their situation. It's not just a nursing home anymore, right? There are lots of different types of senior housing available. So how do I know what are the senior care places and who offers what, right? I spent some time with families talking about the differences between, in-home care versus living in a community. In-home care is not like it used to be. Thanks to the pandemic, things are very expensive, sometimes longer wait times to get an in-home care. And if we're looking at, cost differences, on average, if we were to look at 8 hours a day for care at home, we're looking at roughly $140,000 for a year. If we're looking at assisted living on average, I'd say that's 24-hour care. We're looking at maybe $95,000. So even if in-home care is where you'd like to start, it's important to understand at what point in time is maybe that financially a more challenging situation for you, or if things start to happen like Jackie was talking about, falls or toileting assistance, transfer assistance. Those are really hard with in-home care unless you have somebody with you around the clock because they're not scheduled activities. So we'll talk about, what does assisted living look like? You've heard the word transfers now a couple different times. Transfers mean, can I stand up on my own and transfer to a wheelchair? Or does it take the assistance of one or more people to help me make that transfer? When we're looking at assisted living, 2-person transfer takes 2 people to come in and help me transfer. It might not be an appropriate fit for that level of care because of the way that they staff. So we might have to look at some other care options like a residential care or an adult care home. Again, there's a lot of information involved in what each of these different places has to offer and understanding when it might be most appropriate to start looking at them. So I help families really navigate and understand the differences in these different types of settings. One of the other things I'll do is take them for a tour. So once we identify, okay, we're interested in this type of setting, I will go with the family to look at the places and help them with what questions to ask. Some of the things that I might be asking for a client who has Parkinson's is, what is the training like at that community for Parkinson's? Do they have experience, working with Parkinson's clients? What is their policy like around medication management? We know that medication management is very important to have those doses on time regularly. I also look at their state licensure to see if they're in good compliance and can see if they've had tags previously for things like medication errors and that sort of thing. So my service is free. It doesn't cost you anything to call me up and work with a senior living advisor like myself. Happy to walk through the process with you to help you feel empowered about making a plan that makes sense for you and your loved one, because everyone's needs and desires are different. So don't wait for a crisis to start thinking about this. This feels like a lot of information today. It is, but we've barely scratched the surface. So hopefully this is motivating for you to get out there and start understanding your care team. Go ahead, Jackie, back to you.
Yeah, I love that, Alisha, that people can meet with you years in advance of really needing a facility just to narrow down, like, what do they want for their plan when the time comes, if they have to get support or care outside of a family member, what do they want that to look like, and start planning ahead. And also, just understanding like the consequences of care on your loved ones. For example, if your spouse is the one who's supporting you while you're at home, if they try to transfer you and they get injured, you could both end up needing care. So it's like really thinking about the long-term effects of what this is going to have on your loved ones, in addition to your own hopes and dreams of how you want your long-term care to look like. So I think it's really important to just have that conversation, especially since it doesn't cost anything. And then, really our most important point to get across today as the resource group is just to make sure that you have a support team before the crisis hits. So have a financial planner, a tax advisor, a health insurance advisor, legal counsel for your estate planning and elder care, and a long-term care and senior living advisor, and caregiving support. And make sure you understand how to tap into local resources like the Parkinson's Resources of Oregon. So ideally, your support team will communicate well together to make sure that you're holistically covered. So thank you again for the opportunity to share this information with you. We will be sending out a resource packet to the email that you used to register for our webinar. And if you'd like to set up any free follow-up appointments, just reach out to us. We're happy to help. And then now we're going to stop the recording and open up the microphones for the Q&A portion of our webinar.